Okay, so let's go over the ingredients. Now keep in mind, we may add one or two things here. It's really a personal preference. These are just the basics of the meal, okay? Be creative. Anyway, we're gonna start with petite diced tomatoes. You can use one or two cans depending on how many tomatoes that you want, that you want to use in the dish. Um, you can either use a pasta sauce, or you can just get a can of tomato sauce. Either works perfect. And I got this Italian Glen organic Italian herb, no sugar added. Again, whichever sauce you want, you can use Prego if you want. Really, it's just that simple. Okay, so then we're gonna go with our basic salt. We're gonna use some rice. I'm gonna be using jasmine rice today, but you can use brown rice. I've actually also used quinoa, like the tricolor quinoa, which is great because it adds extra protein. So you can use that. We're gonna use fresh parsley, lovely fresh parsley. All right, and if you got the kind that you get out of the spice aisle, that's fine too. I prefer fresh herbs if I can get them. So we're going to start with the fresh parsley. We're going to use some garlic powder. As you can see here, garlic powder. Doesn't have to be a particular brand, whichever you prefer is fine. We're going to use some black pepper, and then I'm going to use yellow, red, and green peppers. Yellow to give it a little bit of color. And as you can see in the back, not sure if you can see it, but we have an onion. An onion. It's a good size onion. All right. And then we have a head of cabbage. I know you're probably wondering when the cabbage is coming, but yeah, a head of cabbage. So, like I told you in the previous video, we're going to use ground turkey. And we're also going to use plant-based ground. That's for my plant-based people. And the brand that I love, I use all the time for a lot of different things, is Lightlife. Let me just take it out of the package so you can kind of see how it looks. It looks like ground turkey. At least I think it looks like ground. Hold on. Shake, shake, shake. Dun, 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 shake. All right. So, see, it's a ground. It's just a ground. It's a ground. So this is what we're going to be using for our plant-based folks. All right? Okay. So you guys ready to get started? Okay. One thing I did not mention that I need to mention is you want to get a pot about this big, that big, and that deep. Okay? The reason being is because there's going to be a lot of these stuffed cabbages that we're going to make, and we're going to kind of stack them on top of each other. Okay? All right. All right. So we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to chop up our spices. Before we do any of that, make sure you wash your hands. Make sure. Wash your hands. All right. I wash my hands. All right. Make sure you wash your hands. Anyway, we're gonna cut up our vegetables. Cut up the parsley, and so what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut it up so that it's small pieces. We're not gonna. All right. If I could get this undone. It's the only thing about buying fresh. You got all these little things on it. But anyway, so. All right. So we're gonna probably need about. Let me see. About this much. We're going to start with this. We may not use it all, but right now, let's start with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this again. I've already rinsed it. That's the other thing. Make sure you rinse off your vegetables, okay? Your peppers. Just rinse it off, right? Just rinse it off. Even if it's been sitting in the refrigerator for a while, just rinse it off, because you may or may not have rinsed off before you put it in the refrigerator, okay? So I'm going to re-rinse this again. Yeah, that was a piece of stuff. But we will re-rinse this again. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, get your knife. All right, let's go ahead and chop this up really good. Just watch your fingers, okay? Just watch your fingers. I just snipped my finger off, not off, but the tip of it at one point was not good. You would think somebody tried to kill me, but anyway. All right. So we just want to cut this, cut it down, cut it. Need some music, right? Anyway, so we're gonna keep cutting. All right. One more. All right. So you can see that's what it looks like. Don't have to be super minute, but just chop it. All right. Then we're gonna go with the green pepper. And it don't matter how you cut it, long ways, short ways, because we're gonna cut it up to smaller pieces. And then I normally just take the core out, take the knife. I actually have a pepper, I don't know what it's called, but anyway, you stick it in and you rip the inside out. Got it. I think it was Pamper Chef or something. Don't have it with me today. All right. So that's what it looks like on the inside, as you all know. So what you want to do is you want to rinse this because sometimes the seeds get left in there. So you want to go ahead and rinse this out. And you want to do this with all the peppers that you're going to use. All right. Seeds be gone. All right. So I'm just going to slice it because I'm going to cut it up pretty small to begin with. All right. And again, you may or may not need all of the pepper. You might. Again, this goes back to what I always say. Make sure you taste your food when you're cooking because you really don't. I mean, you start with basic ingredients and then you add and delete depending on your own personal taste. All right. All right. So let's chop some of this up. Don't be like me and cut your finger because I have to go to emergency room. I literally sliced off the tip of my finger. I was trying to open a bag of brown sugar. That's what I get. Probably shouldn't have brown sugar, but I was trying to get open. All right, so we're gonna chop. All right, chop. Again, don't have to be perfect. And we may or may not use all of it. We might. Slide them jokers over. Let's chop up a little bit more. Yeah, so this meal, my mom has made it since we were kids, and it's inexpensive, real quick. Well, I mean not quick, but it's quick enough. And the one good thing is, it lasts. You can freeze it, put it in the refrigerator, freeze it, either or. It's kind of like spaghetti. It tastes better the next day. So these couple right here, I don't think we're going to use. So we're just going to put that aside. Just go with the yellow, and I think it's best when your food has some color to it, some flavor, some color. So, and make sure you don't want to, cut that up in there. Okay. And make sure you don't want to, cut that up in there. Okay. So it wants to come back. All right. So there we go. Now we're going to slice the top off. Put that aside. We're going to go ahead and get these seeds out of here. And be careful with this knife, right? Be careful with the knife. Just rip the inside out. Rip that out. Sometimes I stick my hand and just dig in there and get the rest of the stuff out. Okay. I'm going to rinse this. Rinse this knife off. Because sometimes the knife gets a couple little seeds on it, but. Alright, let's put this here. Again, it's for color. And the thing with the plant-based ground, we're not there yet, but just so you know, you do the same exact thing. You season it the same way you would ground turkey, ground beef, whatever one you're using. And people use different types of meat. You use ground beef. Some people use ground pork. Some people use ground lamb. Whatever you want to use, it's really a personal preference. I've never had it with ground lamb, so I can't attest to how it might taste. All right, so we're going to go ahead and chop this stuff up. Chop. All right, here we go. And again, you don't have to make it super fine. You can if you want. I'm making these a little smaller than I normally would. Let's cut another little piece. All right. Let's cut another little piece. All right. Yeah, watch your hands. All right. Yeah, so I've been in Florida for a little bit. So this is a really good light meal too, especially with this heat. You don't want anything heavy. And that's why I choose like ground turkey or something like that, because it's just a light. It's just light. All right, there we go. All right. So we're gonna do the same thing with the red onion. We're gonna do the same thing with the, not the red onion, I'm sorry. We're gonna do the same thing with the red pepper, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the onion. Okay, so as you can see, we chopped up the onions, the red peppers, the yellow peppers, the green peppers, and the parsley. The other thing I wanted to know, sometimes you get the Italian parsley or the curly parsley. It don't matter which one you get. And just for the record, we didn't use the entire red bell pepper. You can see I have these little pieces left. The green pepper, we used all but, I don't know, a couple pieces. I'll just say the whole thing. And that onion that you saw, that big onion, we didn't use the whole onion. Okay. So the next step we're going to do, I need to go get a bowl though. Be right back. Okay. I don't know if this bowl's going to be big enough, but this bowl ain't fine. But anyway, so we're going to start, get your ground turkey. So just FYI, I always wipe my my produce down, my jars down. I do all that before I start cooking. Germaphobe like that. But anyway, especially with Corona, you ain't about playing. All right, so get this El Turco in the bolo. Anyway, all right. She almost dropped the turkey. Okay, anyway. Y'all know y'all do that in the kitchen too. Anyway, so let's put that over there so we put in the turkey. All right, so we have the ground turkey. Ground turkey's a little mushy sometimes, so anyway, we're gonna use ground turkey. Now, I'm gonna say this. Don't just toss everything in there. You gotta gauge it, right? You put some in there, see how if you need more, and then you go from there. All right, so we're gonna start with a little pepper. The other thing I wanted to point out, some of y'all put seasoning in your food. When you're cooking it, you put seasoning, can't see the seasoning. You wanna be able to see the seasoning, okay? So I'm just gonna sprinkle some pepper in here. I'm gonna make sure you can see it, not a whole lot. Some garlic powder. This has no salt in it. If you're a garlic-aholic like me sometimes, put more garlic in it. Do it to it. I'm gonna sprinkle some garlic in there. Or the other thing that I do, I'll get some fresh garlic. Add a little fresh garlic. Either way, you can add them both. You can add one or the other. It's totally up to you. All right, we're gonna add some salt. Now, I normally pour the salt in my hands. I got about that much in my hand right now. And then I just literally start with pinches. So I'm gonna do 1 pinch, 2 pinch, 3 pinch. So that little bit you saw in my hand, that's about 3 pinches. All right, so we have that in there. I'm from the old school. I mix things with my hands. You go ahead and get you a spatula, get you a spoon, get what you gotta get. But I don't mix things with my hands. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with half of what we cut up, right? So as you can see, I'm just separating it. Move that stuff back, right? So I just separated it. Because you don't really know how much you're gonna need until you start putting it in with the turkey, you're gonna mix it in. All right, so let's start with the half. We're gonna put it in there. And the other half, you could either, what I like to do when I have vegetables or peppers and stuff like that left over, I put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer. You can use it later, you can use it for other things. You can put it in the refrigerator, either or. The freezer I like better. The refrigerator doesn't last as long. It'll start getting soggy and it ain't not good. All right, so as you can see, we took half of what we cut up and put it here. And for this purpose, that other half is gonna go to the ground, the plant-based ground, okay? All right, so this is what it looks like thus far. And because I like garlic, I'm gonna add some fresh garlic, okay? All right, I am back. All right, I'm gonna just do a little bit, like that much. So this is a teaspoon I got, so we're gonna use like a half a teaspoon. Sprinkle that on up in there. All right, like I said, I use my hands. Y'all, you know what you gotta do. So you wanna mix it in, make sure it's mixed in good. All right. Now, don't be tasting raw meat, okay? Don't do that. But what you could do, you know the little bit that's on your hands, like when you're mixing it, right? You're just mixing it in there, you're getting all the stuff in there, mixing it. And I use my hands because you can really kind of get in there. You can get in there, you can, flip it and push the ingredients through, right? So we're gonna do that. All right, so for me, I think I might need a little bit more. See? You can see it, but I think I need a little bit more. So that other half that we have left, take some of that, use your hands, whatever you gotta do. Put a little bit more, just add a little bit more, no big deal. Okay, so we have our head of cabbage. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the core off, and I've already cut the core off, okay? Cut the core. We're gonna put it in our pot. We're gonna fill it with some water, right? And we're gonna let it boil, not until the cabbage is done, but until it's soft. Not really soft, still has some crunch to it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, we are back. As you can see, let me see if I can get a good camera angle on this. Okay, so here's the cabbage. We boiled it for a little bit. As you can see, it's still almost not left over. It's still pretty green. The leaves are pretty green. Now, once you take it out the hot water, as you can see, the steam still coming off of it. Be very, very careful because it's hot. Yeah. Anyway, so what you want to do now, just for the record, you can either peel the leaves off, roll the filling in the cabbage, or you can do what I just did. You can boil it a little bit and then roll the filling inside the cabbage. If you're going to boil it a little bit, you can do it while you're mixing the ingredients in, mixing all the ingredients together, or you can wait till afterwards. It really doesn't matter. The reason why I did it afterwards, after I got all the ingredients mixed in, because you don't want to overcook the cabbage. It literally took maybe about 5 minutes after it started boiling to get it where I need it. And as you can see, it's still nice and green, but it's flimsy. It's not that yellow. So I'm just going to start taking some leaves off like this. And again, be very careful because this is still kind of hot. Yeah, if I get burnt on this video, I warned myself, right? And one thing to note, you see how easy it comes off? When you boil it, it does make it a lot easier to come off. And the other thing is, remember when we cut this core off? The core, when you cut the core off, you don't have to be like crunch, 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 trying to get the leaves off. It literally, see how simple that is? It literally just peels apart. Now, this meal feeds a lot of people because you're literally filling the whole cabbage head up, the leaves. See, they come off real easy. So I'm just gonna take these off. And the good thing is, if I don't need all the leaves to fill, I just go ahead and lay the cabbage in the pot. That's the neighbors who have some really, really nice muscle car. We're not talking about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and peel this off. Ooh, it's getting a little hot, just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, so here, there's a little bit of a core left, and you might find that sometimes. I just cut it off, cut a little bit more, just so I can continue to peel. See, makes it real simple, real easy. And if we would have cooked this any more, these leaves would have been ripping. They wouldn't have come out perfect like this. They wouldn't have come out like that. They would have been ripping. All right, so let's put this aside, see if we need that. Anything left over, like I said, I normally lay it. I saved about that much because I lay some of it in the bottom of the pan, lay the stuffed cabbage over top of it, layer it over, put all the sauces in, and then if there's any extra left over, just throw it on top. It's not that, you don't have to be worried. So this is what we're gonna do. Okay, take your mixture. So just for the record, I went ahead and added a little bit more rice, add a little bit more tomatoes. You can do the same, you don't have to. It's a personal preference. So, we're gonna take our leaf, right? Take our leaf. We're gonna dig our hand in to the mixture. And just gauge it based on the leaf size that you have. So we're gonna take about this much. About this much, right? This much. You see that? All right. I normally just kind of form it like that. Let me see if I can get a better picture, better shot. Okay. You want to put it in the leaf. I start at the end here, right? You want to wrap it. Just go ahead and wrap it. You get halfway through, wrapping. I take the ends and I put the ends in. Put the ends in, and then I keep wrapping. Almost like you're wrapping a fajita. You know how you wrap fajitas. Same thing. And just wrap it. Voila! And then the amount of mixture that you put in it is based on the size of the leaf. I mean, some leaves are bigger than others. This one's a little bit bigger than the one we just did. So we just take a little bit, don't need a whole lot. the rice in it, it's going to swell. It's going to be bigger. All right, but you don't want too little because you want it to be meaty. You want it to be hearty for people to eat. All right, same concept. Wrap it through, and some of it pops out. It's no big deal. I'm going to wrap it. Now, I'm going to keep wrapping those. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm going to take some of these leaves from this small. You can put a little something in there. Let's see. I'll put a little something in there, but it's not going to really roll like you want it, so that's not. Let me show you what it looks like when you lay them in there. Can you see that? See that? And you just lay them in there. All right. The next thing you want to do. This is optional. You can either take that second can of tomatoes, put it in there, or you can use like pasta sauce, put it in there, or you can just go straight with tomato sauce. And this happens to have basil in it. So you can do half and half. It's completely up to you. So what I'm gonna do, let's see. I haven't tried this. It says no sugar. We'll see. Let's see. All right. This is where I think I'm strong and I'm not as strong as I think I am. All right. All right. So we're gonna put this in there. The whole jar, the entire jar. You want to coat the stuffed cabbage. Pour it all up in that piece. Pour him up. Oh, sorry. All right. Can you see it? All right. So the other thing I'm going to do for me. Okay, so I'm going to re-record this whole piece because I just recorded. The recording wasn't on. Anyway, so what I did was I went ahead and added this jar, this whole jar of tomato sauce, pasta sauce, spaghetti sauce, whatever you call it.